In a quiet town, the Morgan family lived under the shadow of an ominous curse. An ordinary family, the Morgans much like any other, yet burdened with an extraordinary affliction. This curse, a dark cloud looming over their heads, had its roots embedded deep in their family history, a chilling tale that began many decades ago. The matriarch of the family, Eleanor Morgan, had an insatiable curiosity about the supernatural. She was drawn to the mysteries that lay beyond the veil of the known world. One fateful evening, Eleanor decided to satiate her curiosity with a seemingly harmless Ouija board session. Gathering her children around the mystical board, she envisaged an evening of innocent amusement, unaware of the impending doom. As the family huddled around the board, the planchette began to glide across it, guided by an unseen force. It spelled out cryptic messages, seemingly from an entity not of this world. The room, once filled with anticipation and intrigue, was now thick with a palpable sense of dread. It was then that a dark figure materialized before them, its presence chilling the room to the bone. The figure was an embodiment of darkness, a silhouette that seemed to absorb all light, casting an ominous shadow over the family. Its sudden appearance sent a wave of fear through the Morgans, their hearts pounding in their chests like drums of war. Eleanor, the brave matriarch who had initiated the session, felt a shiver of terror run down her spine. In a panic, Eleanor quickly ended the Ouija board session, hoping to banish the dark figure that had invaded their home. But her actions were too late. The board, the planchette, and the dark figure had formed an unholy trinity, a conduit for a curse that was now unleashed upon the Morgan family. Eleanor, fearing the unknown, hastily ended the session, but the damage had been done. The curse was now a part of their lives, a malevolent force that would shadow the Morgans for generations to come. Little did they know this was only the beginning of their nightmarish journey into the realm of the supernatural. From that moment on, misfortune struck the Morgan family like an unrelenting storm. A chain of tragedies began to unravel, each more inexplicable than the last. The first to suffer was Eleanor's youngest son, who perished in a freak accident, leaving the family in a state of shock and sorrow. This was merely the beginning of a series of unfortunate events that seemed to befall the Morgans with a relentless ferocity. The once thriving Morgan estate, a symbol of prosperity and joy, began to crumble under the weight of this ominous curse. The grand manor house, once filled with laughter and warmth, echoed with a chilling silence as it fell into disrepair. The lush gardens, previously teeming with life, withered away, mirroring the despair that had enveloped the family. As the Morgans grappled with their grief, the curse continued to tighten its grip. The family business, once a thriving enterprise, suffered a sudden downfall, plunging the family into financial turmoil. Their wealth dwindled as if being drained away by an unseen force, leaving them in a state of utter destitution. Amidst this torrent of misfortune, the curse seemed to grow stronger. It was as if the despair of the Morgans was nourishing the dark entity, fueling its power. The once fleeting shadow that Eleanor had glimpsed during that fateful Ouija board session now seemed more tangible, its presence more persistent. It was no longer just a spectral figure lurking in the shadows, but a malevolent force that had sunk its claws deep into the Morgan lineage. The Morgans, once a respected and prosperous family, were reduced to a mere shadow of their former selves. Their joy had been replaced with sorrow, their laughter with tears. Yet, they clung on, weathering the storm with a resilience that was both admirable and heartbreaking. They refused to succumb to the curse, their determination unyielding even in the face of such adversity. The curse seemed to feed on the despair of the Morgans, its presence growing stronger with each passing year. But the Morgan spirit remained unbroken, their resolve unwavering. Their fight against the curse was far from over, and they were ready to confront the darkness that had become a part of their legacy. Whispers of a dark figure echoed through the halls of their ancestral home. As the curse took hold, the Morgans reported sightings of a shadowy presence that seemed to be woven into the very fabric of their home. It was as if a spectral intruder had taken up residence, its unseen footsteps echoing in the silence of the night. Family members spoke of feeling watched, an unsettling sensation that followed them from room to room. It was a gaze that seemed to bore into their souls, a persistent reminder of the curse that had ensnared them. Even in their most private moments, they felt the prying eyes of the entity upon them, adding another layer of torment to their already troubled existence. The figure wasn't just content to observe from the shadows, it made its presence felt in more tangible ways. Cold spots would appear out of nowhere, casting an icy chill that seemed to seep into one's bones. Whispers, too faint to be distinct but loud enough to be heard, would float through the air, adding an eerie soundtrack to the family's daily life. Some family members claimed to have seen the figure itself. They described it as a dark silhouette, its form shifting and undulating like smoke. Its presence was accompanied by an overwhelming sense of dread, a palpable fear that clung to the air and left a bitter taste in one's mouth. The figure seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time, its haunting presence a constant reminder of the curse's grip on the family. It was as if the curse had somehow given birth to a sentient being, one that derived pleasure from the Morgans' misery. With each passing day, the figure's presence became more pronounced. It was no longer just a haunting specter but a tangible manifestation of the curse. Its whispers grew louder, its icy touch more frequent, and its malevolent gaze more intense. The Morgans lived under the constant shadow of this menacing entity, their lives a never-ending cycle of fear and despair. The curse had taken on a tangible form, haunting the Morgans with relentless determination. Desperation gripped the family, and they turned to paranormal experts in a final attempt to break free from the curse's clutches. In the face of an unyielding curse, the Morgan family, driven to their wits' end, put their faith in the world of the paranormal. They reached out to renowned psychics and mediums, hoping against hope that they could provide the salvation they so desperately sought. The family's once grand living room, now a symbol of their shattered prosperity, became the stage for countless seances. The air would thicken with tension as the mediums attempted to communicate with the entity that had so mercilessly tormented the Morgans for decades. The room would echo with whispered prayers and pleas, only to be met with cold, mocking silence from the unseen tormentor. When seances failed to yield results, the family resorted to exorcisms. The house would shudder under the weight of fervent incantations as exorcists battled the unseen force. Yet despite their most desperate efforts, the dark figure remained, a cruel reminder of their failure. Rituals too were performed, each more elaborate than the last. Sacred symbols were etched into the very foundations of the house, talismans were hung in every corner, and offerings were made in a bid to appease the relentless entity. But the curse was unyielding, seemingly feeding off their despair, growing stronger and more menacing with every attempt to banish it. The Morgans watched, helpless, as experts came and went, each leaving more disheartened than the last. The family's hope dwindled with each failed attempt, their spirits sinking further into the depths of despair. Yet, they refused to surrender. Their determination, though battered and bruised, remained unbroken. In the face of their relentless adversary, the Morgans stood firm, their resolve strengthened by their shared suffering. They continued their search for a way to break free from the curse, their spirits fueled by the faintest glimmer of hope. The curse seemed to revel in the family's torment, adapting and evolving with each failed attempt to banish it. As the years passed, the Morgan family's once grand mansion became a dilapidated relic of its former self. The once vibrant halls now echoed with haunting whispers of a past filled with joy, now replaced by a chilling silence. The grandeur that once adorned the vast rooms had faded, leaving behind a stark reminder of the family's dwindling fortune and the relentless curse that held them captive. The once lush gardens teeming with life now lay barren under the curse's icy grip. The once brilliant roses, a pride of the Morgans, were now nothing but wilted memories, mirroring the fate of their owners. The once thriving estate, now shrouded in an eerie desolation, mirrored the family's plight, its glory reduced to mere whispers in the wind. The curse's malevolence had seeped into every brick and beam, staining the once beautiful home with an aura of sorrow. Each corner of the mansion bore silent witness to the family's torment. A palpable heaviness hung in the air, a tangible manifestation of the despair that had taken root in the hearts of the Morgans. The Morgans, now a mere shadow of their former selves, continued their ceaseless quest for liberation from the curse. The dark figure, an omnipresent specter, seemed to mock their futile efforts, its icy whispers echoing through the desolate halls. Their tale, once a symbol of prosperity and unity, had become a chilling narrative of a family brought to its knees by a supernatural force. Their story became a cautionary tale, a grim reminder of the consequences of dabbling in the supernatural. It served as a warning to those who dared to tread into the realm of the unknown, a realm where curiosity could summon forces beyond human control. The Morgans, bound by the curse, waited with bated breath for salvation, Their once resplendent legacy was now tainted by an unyielding darkness, a darkness that had woven itself into the tapestry of their history. The darkness lingered, and the story of the cursed Morgans continued to unfold, its conclusion forever elusive. The specter of the curse, ever present, continued to haunt the Morgans, its icy grip on the family unbroken, its end as elusive as a wisp of smoke in the wind.